G'day everybody and welcome to another All Things Essendon video. Today is all about the draft, the 2025 AFL Draft, and what Essendon currently has, what we might do as a club, and just basically an all-round update on where we sit as we stand the 29th of July. Still obviously 3-4 months out to the draft, but I thought I'd get a little draft update out there, and then we'll get more in depth into it as the weeks go on leading into the draft. Hope you enjoy it. So obviously the first thing we'll go over is obviously the current picks we have. So we've got 2 first-round picks, and at the moment they stand at 4 and 6. Now obviously there's academy players that might get nominated for before these 2 picks. Probably will happen, especially St Kilda. And we'll bid on someone, and Gold Coast have 2-3 very good academy players that are top 5 talents. So these could easily get pushed back a couple, but at the moment, picks 4 and 6, and then we've got the 2 second-round picks, 22 and 23. So we've got our second-round pick and St Kilda's second-round pick, which we done a trade for last year. Also, that number 6 pick is Melbourne's first-round pick, which we did the swap for, so we could bid on Kako and not lose a first-round pick. So that's kind of where we stand at the moment. That 22 and 23 obviously will blow out a bit as well. We don't have any 3rd or 4th round selections at the moment, but still really strong draft hand. And in terms of draft points, we've got the second most just behind West Coast. So yeah, we're looking really strong position here, and we just got to work out what we want to do with these selections from here. Do we want to get some? I'll talk about it in a minute. But do we want to get a couple players in? Do we want to trade out those second round picks for more points, or really does depend. And obviously this is I'm doing this video as there's no Draper compensation, and we're not going to trade anybody out or anything like that as it stands right now. So some talking points. Obviously we've got 2 NJ prospects, Adam Swade and Hussein El Ashkar. Swade was in the top 20 in Kautumi's first Phantom draft guide. He is slowly moving up the draft board. And then Huss had a pretty good championships. He struggled to get a bit on the weekend, had a quiet one for Calder Cannons. But I would be very surprised if Essendon didn't match any bids on these two lads to get him into the club. Huss will probably be more around that 25 to 40 range at the moment, depending how the last 4 or 5 weeks of the Talent League season goes. But yeah, I'd expect them to be on our list next year. Just depends where the bid goes, and then obviously we got to work a little bit around how we do that with draft points and that sort of thing. So there's that. The Draper compensation, I just seen tonight that I know she's not a reliable source, but I've forgotten her name now, but she's on that. I've forgotten the name. That's really annoying me now. I just watched her on Agenda Setters. Everyone will know who I'm talking about. She does my head in. But she said that Draper's more than likely going to go to Brisbane. We will get compensation. It'll probably be in the top 25. Where it lands, I'm not too sure. So if that does happen, we get another pick in there. And we'll do a video on that if that happens. But yeah, that might be coming. That might not be. He might sign on. So there's that to think about as well. And the next point here, what to do with the 2 second round picks. So if Huss and Swade, especially Swade, get nominated in the 18 to 20 range, you don't want to lose that 22 pick. It will take up a fair. I'm not sure really. I'm not the best and not most knowledgeable. There's more knowledgeable than me when it comes around the draft capital and draft points. But I don't know if that'll be enough. And if it is, it's a pretty big draft hand to be giving away. So do we trade them if we're going to get Swade and Huss to get a bunch of later picks that we can use for points, and then be able to get a couple more extra players on top of it rather than just lose the draft picks with the bids, if that makes sense. So yeah, there's going to be some real interest to see what we do with that scenario with the second round picks. Do we trade both of them? Do we just hold on and see what happens? It really depends where Swade and Huss are going to end up being bidded on, if they are, of course. And then obviously, do you trade for Harley Reid and Zach Butters? If, this is a big if they decide they want to leave, and if they even want to come to the Bombers. So it's obviously far-fetched, But if that scenario does happen, what do you got to give up for that? 2-3 first round picks, you'd say. Is it worth it? That's up for you guys to judge, I suppose. I'm not sure. It's a tough one, go either way. But yeah, there's those scenarios as well. And then there's a couple of teams who would want to get back into this year's draft. They don't have an early pick, and they've obviously struggled this year, like North Melbourne, Port Adelaide. They don't have a good draft hand this year. I think Port's first pick is in the late 20s. North Melbourne is 2021, something like that. Do they want to get back into this draft? So if you get the Draper compensation or one of the other first round picks, depends what happens. Do you want to trade it for a future first and hope North Melbourne, Port Adelaide, more than likely North Melbourne, struggle again next year and you get a higher pick? So that could be another option, and that will give us 2 first round picks next year. All these are options I think we'll look at and maybe just to see what happens. So that's what I think anyway. Let me know what you guys would do. Put your recruiting and draft team management sort of hat on, and what would you do? What would you keep the draft hand? Would you try to move one of the first round picks to next year? What do you do with the Draper compensation if that happens? Would you trade for Harley Reid? All those sorts of stuff. Let me know in the comments below. In previous videos, I've had some really good conversations with Essendon fans and discussions about even the Archie Reid video the other day. So, chuck a comment in what you think and what your thoughts are, and let's chat about it. My 2 ideas here. So, this is my extremely uneducated opinion. So, I'm pretty new to obviously I've been a massive fan of footy and the Bombers and the draft and that for a long time. I'm really trying to learn a lot more into it about points and trade scenarios and all that sort of stuff, and lists rules and that sort of thing. So I come up with a couple of ideas. Chances of these happening, as I said, are probably absolutely slim, and I'm probably way off the mark here, but I thought I'd have a stab at it anyway. So let me know what you think of these. But a couple of pick swaps with Fremantle and Adelaide. This is to get rid of 22 and 23, and then you get 5 picks back in return that you can use for the that you can use to match bids for the NGA prospects, so Sweet and Huss. And you might be able to use a couple more or 2-3 more of those picks to pick up some players. So Freo would get 22, Adelaide would get 23, we would get 30 and 39 from Fremantle, and then 42, 49, 53 from Adelaide. I could see a scenario like this happening, we'd probably be different teams, and I'm not sure how the points add up. I think the points are a tiny bit different. But I could see us maybe doing something like this, get 5-6 picks in return for those 2 second round picks. Those second round picks obviously move out to probably like 30 as well by the time all the academies and father sons and that sort of stuff are all gone through. So there's that scenario. That one's a lot more likely, something like that happening. And then another one was obviously Gold Coast don't want and want to probably, they would rather have it, but they're going to have to move on their first round, or they've got 3 first rounders, I'm pretty sure. They're going to move at least 2 of them on, I would have thought, because they've got the academy bids and the academy kids coming along. They need all the points for them. So this is a scenario if you were not thinking of maybe getting Swade or Huss, or maybe only going to get one of them, and hopefully one goes through the draft and you pick him up in the rookie draft. This is a scenario you could look at. So Essendon get pick 8 or pick 11. Gold Coast get 22, 23, future 3rd, future 4th, one of them 2. Something like that could potentially happen. It might be even end up being a pick at 18, or I think that's the other one they have. Something like that could happen. Just another idea. That one, obviously less likely than the first one, but that's a couple of ideas I come up with. And I'd love to know what your ideas would be in terms of what pick swaps or what would you do in this scenario. So that's that. And I think that's just about the end of the video. So thank you heaps everybody for watching. I'm blown away by how the channel has gone over the first week and a half. I didn't even think would be anywhere near 1K views on a video. So I really do appreciate it a lot. And yeah, we're on the road to 500 subscribers now. I think we're at about 240. So if you are watching this and you like Essendon content, yeah, please subscribe to the channel. There's plenty more of this sort of stuff coming. I try and get videos out every day or two. And yeah, really appreciate the support. And we'll be back on probably Thursday or Friday with a match preview video. Take it easy. Cheers.